let me use your facilities to record these videos so that I have a doper looking background. Because at the time I lived in a tiny apartment in Queens. Well, I still live in Queens, but I lived in a very small old apartment. And so in exchange for producing these videos, Music Zoo would upload it to their YouTube page, which I don't know, at the time had like 10K followers. I'm sure it went up since then.
Right.
But allowed
What's Music Zoo?
The Music Zoo is this freaking awesome guitar store. They sell all kinds of things, but mainly like just really high-end boutique brands of guitars. They carry everything, but what they specialize in are just real rarities and high-end stuff. They're based in Long Island, New York. They're like the go-to place in this part of New York, for sure. And they have a massive online presence as far as like, you know, their sales and stuff. I don't know the numbers, but I know they do very well for themselves online. And they were this small, rinky-dink, tiny shop in Little Neck, New York, and now they have this massive place in Farmingdale. They're not like a Sweetwater or a Musician's Friend, but like I said, they have a very specific niche with boutique instruments, and I've just had this long relationship with them. Going there to buy strings when I was first learning how to play guitar, riding my bicycle from my house to over there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I know I've known those guys for ages, and I've become very close to several of their employees over the years.
And that allowed you to go and do some takes at the shop. And
yes. So I wanted to get into the YouTube game for a long time. The whole idea of wanting to get into YouTube came from wanting to do gear reviews, and I quickly learned after starting to do gear reviews that it's not what I wanted to do. I like gear. I like watching gear review videos, but I don't want to produce it. I have no interest in it. But what was more valuable from that experience was learning how to juggle the time, the editing. That's where I really cut my teeth. I was using iMovie. Yep. It was really basic. I had a really crappy camera, but again, I was learning, and in some funny ways, it wasn't on my own platform, so to speak. I was using someone else's and kind of taking advantage of the, I say this like it's a bad thing. In reality, it's not, but because the Music Zoo is getting free content out of me, and I get a facility to use, but also I get their clout. I get put onto their YouTube channel, which has, 9,700 more followers than me. So it helped me get a little exposure. It taught me a lot about video production. This was, I don't know, now at this point, 4 years ago. That was when I clearly remember like taking the dive into YouTube and just realizing like producing consistently is one of the hardest fucking parts,
right.
Week, and I didn't even do it week after week. I did it.
Would you agree, though, Brian? Would you agree? I think there's definitely a place for the gear review as part of the ecosystem of your brand. When you know what I mean? I think those videos, you leveraging their facility, that you're leveraging their fans, right? Their subscribers, right? And then it's a trade-off. It's good. It's a good it's a good to cut your teeth in something like that, where it probably had to push you to do something that you weren't really used to doing, that you did, and you're glad you did it. And that's what it sounds like. It doesn't have to be the be-all, end-all, but it's part of the components of what people want to see from you.
Right. It was that experience that allows me now to edit the video for the web series.
Right.
And to know how to juggle all those logistics and things like that. So that was what I gained out of it, which is, quite, pretty.
I think when you have like a command of production and command of your brand, it goes a lot further, because the thing is, like, I watch so many people just for my day job who go, well, there was a pandemic, so I'm going to start a podcast, and they just so poorly execute it at the end of the day, and just they go, well, we'll just go Facebook Live and everybody will watch it. It's like, okay, but now your audio and your video don't even sync up, like little things like that. And the thing was I was asked by somebody, was it you, Brian? It was somebody, where I kind of said, what me? Oh, it was my buddy Mark. He's thinking about doing it, but he's written like 3 books. And he's a really smart dude.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I got this company. I'll pay them $1,200 a month, and they'll just, niche it out for me. They'll go find the followers. They'll go do everything for $1,200 a month. I'm like, oh, great. That's good, man. Well, if you want help, let me know. But I said, the thing is, I said, when Greg and I started it, I said, we spent like at least 3 months fleshing out what that thing was going to taste and look like before we even hit record or had the first guest, because I wasn't going to go into it and be like, oh, we got 2 guests. Now we don't have 6 weeks of guests.
Right.
Yeah. Talking about batching out, which is the content thing, right? And that's what Mike's basically saying is and that's the thing, you got to keep up with it. So when they tell you, like, you know, these courses that are out there that we talk about, they tell you to really plan out your month. So you can literally take that gear review video you did, and you could do breakdowns of that gear review from like, you have a whole setup, right? You may review your guitar, you may review your pedals, right? You may review the plugins you use to record. So there's a bunch of different levels there that you can work with. But, you know, to come up with that every day, or like, that's not probably easy. So you plan it out ahead, you film a bunch of different videos, and you batch it out. And now what Mike is saying is you have a month to work with stuff, and you don't have to be so stressed out by it.
And that's the lessons I learned from doing the Music Zoo thing was I wasn't that pre-planned in advance. I think I was like 1 episode ahead. And but it was, again, the logistics of everything, getting the sound right, learning how to speak on camera.
You're great on camera, by the way. Your video really, really are, man. You're natural. So, I mean, I saw you on Good Morning America, too. I mean,
I haven't seen that clip. Is it on YouTube?
Great. Yeah.
I got to watch it.
Yeah. He talks about his music when he was a kid.
The Bieber comments?
That's where the Bieber was born from.
That was the Bieber was born from.
And you may have noticed that on my... my name is now changed.
Oh shit, it's not Bieber, right?
Because after I listened to the podcast, actually, I don't want people to know my personal, Facebook profile. But whatever, it doesn't matter. But
trying to keep some kind of anonymity.
I post a lot more personal stuff, and not that I post much to begin with on my personal page, but it's a lot of pictures of my daughter and my family.
That's another side of you. It's a 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional thing. You got the chef, you got the musician, you got the other creative videos that you do, and then you got your family.
That's interesting you say that, Brian, because my sister is a pretty well-known yoga and meditation specialist. And
why don't you give her a plug? Where could you?
Oh yeah, so go to Rachel Every Heart Yoga, Rachel Grant Jackson. Go check her out. She's amazing. But also, for the longest time, she would post pictures of my niece.
Right.
And as things, I think, got more popular, she's really kind of held back. So whenever you see my niece, it's either in a live video where you catch it real quick and you can't really see her any other time, or if it's a picture, usually it's like she takes a unicorn like sticky head and puts it on.
So it's like stories go away, so you see her for the moment.
Yeah, for the moment, or even the live feed, goes away. So
right. We should talk about that really quick. A guy that I listen to and subscribe to his vlog and his podcast is Adam Ivy, and he talks about the quadrants of basically posting one picture from your family oriented picture, right? That's one side, your dog, your cat, whatever it may be, something goofy, and then your band. So it's not always, hey, check out my band. Like we say, Chef Brain Tsao, and you have your food element and you have your music, and that is really, really cool. And then your gear reviews, and then anything outside, your videos and your everything. It's a good package. So it's a good example. Now, I kind of wanted to dive into the new single that you're coming out with from your band.
Yeah. Love to talk about that. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, that badass piece of music that fucking rocks
in that video.
I listen to it.
The video is fucking awesome, dude.
Thank you. That was produced by Slate Media Group, which is Anthony Lapardo, who also is the engineer and producer of
I spoke to him yesterday.
Oh, did you? I just saw him like an hour ago. He helped me. Yeah,
he's actually going to come on the show, him and Vinny, next Wednesday.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, yeah. They're coming to do an interview, which I can't wait, because those guys, I mean, Anthony and I were just talking about you in general in the band, and I said, he goes, that band was together for so long, and then the singer really tied it together. I said, it was like Big Lebowski, huh? He tied the room together. You're like,
the rug
did that rug not tie the room together?
Ties the room together, man.
Like your opinion, man.
Like your opinion.
It's like your opinion, man. No.
You paraquat.
Paraguay.
You know what a paraquat is? I had to look that up. So it's an airplane apparently that basically douses weed plants with chemicals, so like they kill.
Yeah.
Something.
That's what I get for a dad who traded soybean meal for a living. He could tell you everything about crops.
Yeah. So paraquats, that's what happens. They kill the crops.
Now I know.
Right?
So yeah, back to the single. We just put out our teaser this past Friday. It's Sunday now. For everyone that's watching live, it's Sunday now. But by the time the podcast comes out, basically 2 days ago, my band put out a teaser. The band's name is Lost Becomes. Single is called Focus. It's due to come out this Friday, so 5 days from now. We started the countdown today. So released the teaser, just a 15-second clip of the music video of the song. Again, that music video was produced by Slate Media Group, Anthony Lopardo of Westfall Recordings, who also engineered and produced the record. We're just super stoked to get this music out there. We've been a band for 2 years now, and our vocalist Anthony only came on board like 4 or 5 months ago, but he really just fit in like a shoe and super proactive guy. And he's just got this unbelievable style that's just so visceral and fucking pissed off, and it tied the room together, man. And
ties the songs together, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean the song that I was hearing is nasty.
When I think I spoke to you yesterday, Brian, on the phone. I was like, "Holy fuck, this guy, dude!" With the vocals. I mean, it was like, I love that grittiness of like the Cancer Bats meets Every Time I Die, yes, but like that real, like almost like Fit for an Autopsy type shit, though, too.
Yeah, I'm really glad you said Cancer Bats, because you're not the first person to that reference. But yeah, he has a very unique style, and I can't wait for future singles to come out when you hear him sing, because he's really got a great singing voice too. So we really lucked out. He is the total package. And yeah, we have more singles coming out, but our first debut single is a fucking banger. It's riffs upon riffs. It's going to make you want to beat down and fucking mosh and go nuts. And we're really sad we can't play live, but
Slay's home, right?
Live streams. Live streams are going to happen.
I'm sorry?
You have some live streams?
We're going to do the Slay at Home thing December 18th, which is basically the week after the single officially comes out on all major streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple, Amazon Music, such and such, powered by DistroKid.
There you go. Exactly my next question.
Yeah.
So what do you like? You prefer DistroKid over TuneCore, over CD Baby? I think
I didn't do my research. I discovered DistroKid from gear review videos. Here we go, full circle again. I was watching like Fluff's channel and Jared Dine's channel, and I just clearly remember DistroKid kind of being some of their first paid ads. When these review guys stopped relying on AdSense because they changed the policies, and reviewers started doing paid advertisements. And I remember one of those brands was DistroKid, and I had a new band at the time. It was an alternative rock band, female-fronted alternative rock band, very 90s inspired. It's on Spotify. Well, it's on all major streaming platforms. That band is called Over the Pass, which has been on hiatus for several years now. But I used DistroKid to put out that music, and I was not as educated on how to do a release like I am now. I was very adamant to stay independent and kind of figure things out and learn on my own. And if anyone knows me, anyone who knows me, period, knows that I ask a lot of questions. I think I even called Mike the other day asking him questions. I'm fine with letting people know that I don't know something and I want to know. So I'm ask. And that's kind of, I really feel like I'm feeling very confident going into this release. I think I'm not a label, but I feel like I've done enough of the right things that so far the reception has been overwhelmingly positive, And I think good things are to come. But going back to DistroKid, yeah, I didn't really do my research because the service just, again, I'm not trying to sell it to anybody, but it was just so simple. Flat fee every year, unlimited uploads. You keep 100% of your royalties. That can mean absolutely nothing, because if no one's listening, you're not going to make any royalties. But it was so simple. So
great to own your master rights, though.
Which we should talk about how we get people. I've been really going over. I've taken several different courses and compared them, and how they basically tell you to push this stuff and how to actually turn it into amassing fans, and like how to turn a buddy into a fan, and into a fan to a diehard fan, and
not turn a fan into a buddy.
Hey buddy, I'm not your fan. Yeah.
It's your fan, buddy fan.
No, but there's something called there's a process they have, and it's interesting, and I'm kind of diving deep, but I want to kind of always throw some value out there, and basically I invest the money so who's ever listening out there doesn't have to, but eventually you should, because there's
or did
so there's a lot of good information out there on how to take an ad on a Facebook ad and how to target that traffic, right? Target that traffic and send them to either YouTube or your Spotify. And if you can, it's called an acquisition, right? Your first, the affirmation is one step, which is affirming to somebody that you're worth them clicking into. That's the first stage. And there's so many of those. You could take $100 and then for maybe $1 a day, have this reoccurring campaign going. And it's taking people that are possibly interested and click into what they're doing. And you could take that and you can go to the next stage, which is the ascension stage, where they eventually buy something. And only so many of those people are going to buy something. But for every 10 new fans you get, your money invested and you're setting it up right, you get one for free. And that over time, actually compounds into significant numbers, where you're decreasing your money for putting out new advertising to drive people to your song, to your Spotify, to your YouTube, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
But what we're finding here is that there's a lot of more people that are going to opt in at one time, and taking those fans, having those people opt in is great, right? Now you have their information, but how do you get more of those people that are opted into even for watching your video or anything that you're putting out for more than 20 seconds, right? Those are the people that you're going to turn into actual fans that are going to buy something from you, right? So, when they do buy something, you start putting these different packages together where you're actually sending out stuff they're like interested in. It's like you talk about food, right? So if it was like something about food, like stop being fat, like that shirt, right? It like they get that shirt, and then you talk about ways to make your eat healthy but eat junk food still at the same time, but you can eat junk food and eat healthier junk food. I'm taking it's something that you do, and I'm taking what we're talking about and applying it to it, because that's exactly what they're talking about. And they're saying people aren't just interested in your music, they want to see different dimensions of you. So if you're able to do that and add value what you're interested in, people you'll make you unique in the marketplace, because nobody's we're all the same, but we're not the same. We're all like different things. We all are passionate about different things. And what I'm saying is, be yourself, put yourself out there, put the things that you like. Like I'm into conspiracies and shit. I talk about a lot of shit like that. I'm not going to go into it, but I'm self-development. So I put out a lot of stuff about self-development. I got to do more stuff about that, but that's something I'm interested in. So I could speak to that, and you can connect with people more on not just the music engagement, where you're just like, here, check out my stuff. Here, this is me playing a guitar. Hey, this is me, my dick in my hand, buy my guitar, like watching that. So it's like,
add to that, and you've hit the nail on the head. And, I've kind of learned those things along the way through my method, which was just asking tons of questions to all my friends who are in the industry, but also like, I purposely no longer go to a gym, but work out at home, because now I work out, I do body weight exercises. I work out in front of my computer, and I'll put on a YouTube video, whether it's, like I watch a lot of, confidence and motivational type of content. I watch a lot of music industry content. I'm consuming your content, which is, I think I've mentioned it to Mike before, that there's a lot of things you guys say on this podcast that really like kind of validate and reconfirm, like, okay, I think I'm on the right track. Mm-hmm. In addition to that, this like overall, at the end of the day, for me, the band, even though I'm pushing it really hard right now, the band is still, comes second after my career. So, you'll still, even like I said, even though I've been pushing it more recently, you'll still see that the center of who Chef Brain Tsao is the chef, the authority on food. So that's my number one priority. And then for people who follow my food content or know me as that, food critic / authority / just everyday restaurant chef, now has, as you mentioned, a different interesting dimension to me, which is my metal music. And then people that, I hope to gain more fans in the music arena now may discover that, oh, cool. Like, not only is he a guitar player, but he also, he also is a professional chef, and wow, he's like a legit professional chef. And honestly, that has been like my foot in the door with so many people, from inviting artists to my restaurant to dine. Oftentimes I would wine and dine them to the nines, completely free of charge. And, they always insist to pay, but that for me is like my opportunity to pick these people's brain. And even this was so long ago, it was my opportunity to kind of be like, well, this is what I have to offer your industry, even though it may not necessarily be aligned, but everyone's got to eat, and especially touring musicians.
Everybody loves food, so you can't go wrong with anything. Food as your main, your here's the circle, like food in the middle, and then everything else off to the side. You could just go off of that all day, man. Everything.
I think the places where people congregate that are similar, that revolve around music, are kitchens and control rooms and studios.
How do you
In the sense that when you're with your band and you're recording, right, everyone congregates with the engineer and they're talking, and there's an energy and there's a vibe, or maybe someone's recording through speakers or recording in the booth or whatever. And the same thing with, at least my family, when I was growing up, Christmas, Thanksgiving, whatever, people will congregate around the island in the kitchen and talk. And my mom would be like, get the fuck out. Because it was just too much over time. Everybody's hanging out. But I think that's where people congregate. I feel like that's like vital centers in your life. And not to get too metaphysical about it, kitchens are one of them.
Absolutely. 100%. Food brings together, like, if they're not congregating in your kitchen during a Christmas party, they're congregating at a dinner party, they're congregating on a date, whatever it is. Food and music just brings people together in a very similar way. They're both arts. They both take immense creativity and also a lot of fucking willpower to do it day after day.
Yeah.
I always say that professional touring musician is probably one of the jobs that may be harder than kitchen life, because unfortunately a lot of people don't make money from it. And you're putting together all these creative people who aren't necessarily good with their money, or may have something fucked up about them, whether it's substance issues or
right. I think also too, back to the money thing. I mean, I find that a lot of bands do it just for the love of it, and they don't realize the economics of it, where it's like, the one thing I've learned from many guests on this show, one of them being our friend Stephen Shaw, being probably one of the best tour managers in the world, is like everything has a budget to it, or everything has a price to it, right? Mm-hmm. So he could always, and he always does, whether it's Stone Sour or Cage the Elephant or System of a Down, whoever he's worked for in the past, he, before a tour would even start, I mean, he's got it worked out to the penny to, the dates and cost and parking permits and what that eats into the band. I mean, he's prides himself on making sure that bands come back with money. Whereas a lot of independent artists, I think that the issue that ends up happening is it's like, all right, we got shows. Well, what's the short money solution to that? What's the bigger picture of it? How are you going to sell your merch when you're out there? How you engage fans? That's the longer play in making money on the road. And I agree with you. I've toured a lot in my life as a sound guy and as a guitar tech and a monitor engineer, and it will beat you up to death. Even if you're making money as a professional, it will beat you up if you don't watch it.
Yeah. And that's, you guys are, that's on the back end of it. Like the people in the industry that are making your show, like at the level that a lot of people listening to this
are not there, but
we're not speaking to, because you're not going to make dog shit. It's a really good hobby for you. But the question is, can you really turn your hobby into something?
But I think also too, just 1 second. I think also too, it's good to get into the practice of saying, what is the cost on this show? I think it motivates people better to kind of evaluate how they can make money in a lot of ways. Because the thing is like, Greg, you say it all the time. Like, if you're not engaging your fan base through email or capturing different things where the band leaves early and doesn't need a fan's money and they're looking for a t-shirt, that's stuff left on the table. That's one example. But I think it's like a good practice early on. If you are looking at the bigger picture, saying, this is what it costs for us to go to show, instead of, hey, we got $100, we got gas money and food for the next day.
And that's the thing. You got to take what you're doing. And I think, again, dude, you know what it comes in? I'm having an epiphany here, both of you. It's really this. At the end of the day, you're putting yourself in situations where you have the opportunity to make a best of a shitty situation or make the best of a better situation that is going to be better no matter what. So you start from already taking a show that you need to drive to and pay a certain amount of gas to. And, your time is money, but you're not thinking about that because it's fun, right? Right. It's fun. Okay. So, well, how come, if you can't go out there and make it a goal, not just to be put pressure on yourself, but to say to yourself and to the guys in the band, be like, listen, we got to get at least 10 people to sign our email list or more. And if people want merchandise and we don't have it, we'll be able to take orders on credit cards. So we have Square and we can bring that and we can literally have people swipe their credit card and they'll have shirts shipped to their house. We could show them the design. We have the shirts, we have them, but we don't have enough of this size. So if we just take those orders and then we sell them and we put disclosure in there or disclaim it to the person, hey, listen, you want a t-shirt? Sign this. They sign their email on a freaking iPad. Now you have it. Now you don't have to go out. You could literally upload it to a CSV spreadsheet. Just be smart about the time that you have because, again, you're literally pissing in the wind. And those people are going to be able to get your message later. And then next time you go back, it's going to be that much better. But let's take it a step up even more. Let's say you're just coming out now. And again, Damian Keys talks about this all the time. It's like right now, if you don't have that momentum, you're going to be left behind in the saturation. Everybody's going to be fighting for that same opportunity to get shows and stuff. If you're ahead of it now and you're putting out content and you're literally following some type of schedule and you're taking more initiative to just go beyond, okay, I'm going to shoot from the hip and put this out, plan out your shit a little bit better, captivate people, put out an ad, take that ad, you retarget that audience. When Facebook, you do an ad with Facebook, they literally give you a like audience. So those little bit of people that turn into possible that fans that are past the affirmation stage and they're the ascension stage, I call that. The ascension stage is where they'll actually start buying shit. And Facebook will give you 100 up to 1 million to 2 million other fans that are like the ones that are actually purchasing stuff from you, as opposed to the ones that are in the affirmation stage that are going to drop off. Maybe they purchase once.
Right.
That's okay, because we got to get them through this filter. And then when you actually set up another ad for driving people to your Spotify page for more streams, your cost per acquisition for that fan is going to go down drastically. And then again, you get more fans at a much lower cost because you were smart. You took your money instead of spending gas money and whatever money that you need to spend to get to your fucking gig. That's probably not even packed because your promotions aren't that relevant. So you're not going to have a great outcome there. I'm not saying don't play shows that aren't really good for you all the time, but you can actually plan it out where you could target that city, get those people in that city. And then before you even get there, next time when you go there and you play, there'll be people there because you've already done all this back work.
And,
that money was better spent and allocated towards a strategy as opposed to just shooting from the hip. And that's what everybody's doing. I've done it. We've all done it because we love doing it. But at this stage, it's with the time we have, make the best of this time and plan your shit a little bit better. Like start putting forth an effort to really streamline your time and really turn this into an actual possible living to start supplementing for other things that you can't afford. You want that car? All right. Start turning your music into a way to make money because there's actually a way to do that. And
right. To add to that, a lot of what you're talking about, I think, is much more marketing based and maximizing sales, which is all super, super important and super vital. I actually want to go back to what Mike was saying, and what was his name? Something Shaw.
Stephen Shaw. Yeah, he's one of our first guests on the show. He's a currently, I guess. Well, everyone's furloughed from the touring industry, but the last gig he was doing was Cage the Elephant. It was literally right as he was in Europe right as they were shutting it down because of
He's
COVID.
lucky he didn't get.
By a day, they missed it. There was one show they didn't do, which was Milan, and they shut it the fuck down. Yeah, crazy.
I did listen to that episode, and it was very fascinating for me because with the band affairs, Mike, you said a very key word that a lot of people I don't think say enough, and I know I didn't for a long time. That word, budget.
Yep.
Budgeting things and knowing, like, yes, to go back to Greg's point, it's extremely important to maximize your sales, focus on your marketing, and going in with a plan so that you make more money. Hopefully, though, it comes back to achieve the goal of your budget. And I did not understand this concept for an immense part of my younger years. And as I've gotten older and now I have a house and a kid to worry about, I've really had to change my mindset. So now with all of my ventures, my merch line, the web series, everything has a budget. Everything's currently funded through my main bread and butter, which is my chefing career. But I'm very specific about the budget of how much money I'm willing to allocate to a certain project. So, going back to this band's budget, everyone in the band is like, they're shocked at how much I keep track of things. And they all said, like, this is the first band that we've had a P&L. Like, it's very important for me to have a profit and loss statement.
Definitely.
Every month. And I want and it's broken down by date and, who owes what and how much and what it's for. And I send it to them. I was like, we're putting this money into this, and you realize there's nothing coming in. This is all loss at the moment. And I'm sorry, I don't intend to have it this way for very long. Like, I will be playing. I will always be playing guitar, but I'm not going to keep sinking energy into any project that is, where I see a profit and loss statement and it keeps coming back negative. So then that goes to, like, okay, well, how do I not make it negative when we do play a show? Okay, now we're going to have to think about, like, all right, we don't have, like you said, Greg, we don't have this shirt, but we can still swipe your card, take your information, and ship it to you later. Well, now we don't, I'm starting a band that doesn't even have that option. Excuse me. So how am I going to make this a profitable thing for us?
It's almost as simple too as like Apple Pay. Like, everyone has Apple Pay.
Sure. That's one thing. All the sources of payment and these, if you go through Stripe or PayPal, they'll have these. You can have it. You can put it on your phone and do it, no problem. You can have a swiper. It's not a problem. The thing is, you have to actually go out and push it a little bit. You can't just stand around and expect people to come up. They will come up to you. But let's just say this. We're not playing shows right now. So how else do you do that? So you got to do what you're doing. If you're coming out with a single, you have to have a build up to that single coming out.
So I mean, we talk about that point a lot, Greg, but Brian, question for you. Just sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
What do you guys see for the future for Lost Becomes as we push forward? Because you could hammer that point in the ground all day long, but, like, let's talk about you guys, for example. What are your guys' future plans? That's interesting on the profit and loss thing. Actually, that fascinates me, by the way.
Well, yeah, a corporation, you can have a profits and loss too under
I will be very honest with you guys. For all of us right now, would we want to be? This is a question I bring up to everyone in the band consistently. Is, do you want to be a rock star? Yeah, we all want to be rock stars. Like, that's why we started this band, and we would love to be a rock star. But we also have to be very realistic. Will, the bass player, and myself both have families. We both have careers, and we're not going to leave them unless the band's going to make more money. But the band's not going to make more money unless we're willing to put more time into it. So it's very clear from the very beginning that, like, yes, we'll tour, but we're not going to go for long stretches. You
really don't need to. That's the point too, Brian. Go ahead.
We're very okay with not being lifers, and making this our main thing. However, every venture, every step, every progression, every single that we release, we are definitely going to look to see how we can make the absolute best of it. Whether it's, okay, well, we can't do, excuse me. we can't do a live show. Do we do a live stream now? And we're a new band, so we can't offer, we're not gonna ask for a ticket entry fee, but maybe we'll offer a very limited run of very specific merch, solely for that. This is just I completely pulled this out of my ass.
Yeah,
but,
right. You're hypothetically.
Specifically for, this run of t-shirts is specifically for this show, and it's only going to be on this show, and that's it. Creating some kind of form of exclusivity to it.
That's very good idea. I'm going to add to that idea for you and just try to make it, optimize it to the best of its ability. You heard that we work with a company called Veeps, or we are endorsing them. They're, the big part of what's going on the live stream circuit right now. And by teaming up with somebody like that, again, you're going to be able to actually monetize something that you may have thought wouldn't be able to be monetized. But first you have a build up to that. Nothing's rushed. Like, you don't have to do everything right now. If you do it right, then you don't have to rush anything. It's better to do it right than rush something that you need to release it by January. But if all the ducks aren't lined up in a row to have it released, to be right, it's not worth it. Yeah. You have the time, but all you have is the time. So make the best of the time you have, make the best of all that money that you put into it. And if you're going to get anything back, the strategies we're talking about here, I didn't make them up. These are people that are applying these every day, and they're killing it. And as we're getting into this more, I'm pivoting from doing business advertising and everything, but it's still the same kind of set of rules.
Yeah, even with the projects that we have coming up, and by the way, I got some others that I got to tell you about, Greg. But the thing is like, if we look at like a 20-day cycle for each single, that makes so much sense right now. It's not even funny, because you basically lock out your social media, all your promotion for that single, and how it will maximize itself in the market, essentially.
Yeah. And when you do,
they don't get bored and they don't get disenfranchised with
right. So I'm glad you guys brought this up, because we're planned out for the next 5 months. Like,
that's amazing.
Exactly what piece of content is coming out. So I'll give you the breakdown for the first single. I
ask you, I didn't want to be rude, but it's important. I'm really interested in that.
So you guys are getting the exclusive again. Like, we're a small band up and coming, and I guess we'll be the experiment to see if this concept works. But I already told you guys we're going to be releasing all singles.
Mm-hmm. And why are you doing that? Let's just really quick,
to build up to something, and to consistently put ourselves out there, rather than just one big shot of music, and that people may only listen halfway and kind of disregard the rest because maybe they got ear fatigue from listening to the same band over and over. It just allows you to maximize your content, especially if you already have an album's worth of content, and rather than just putting out in one shot and maybe being forgotten in a month, you can now stretch that out over a year. So when I say that we have our content laid out for the next 5 months, I'm serious. Like, we have I'll give you the breakdown right now. So it started this past Friday, teaser, followed up by a countdown, followed up by the single release, which is we're going to put a few advertising dollars behind it, that we're going to use that to drive traffic to our other social media streams, because between everyone in the band, our strongest place is Instagram. So we don't need to push to Instagram, but we need to push to YouTube. And then one week we'll push to Spotify and things like that, things that need growth. Then the following week after the release of the single is going to be Slay at Home. So we have a lead up to Slay at Home. There's a countdown on my website to Slay at Home. The week after that, I think, is Christmas. We're going to actually keep quiet. And then the week after that, we're going to put out a drum playthrough because it's one of the more, fun songs to watch someone play drums on. We filmed that today, but this was pre-planned a month ago, all right. We're going to film today because we need a couple weeks to edit it and get the kinks out and upload it. That's a month from now when it comes out, the playthrough. And then following the playthrough, we're putting out introspectives where you get to talk to the band and why we wrote this song and how we wrote the song and what's the motivation about this song. And it's going to
each song gets this type of treatment.
Yeah, so like basically you're going to learn about the people and the song for every single release. And we're going to do it, two people to every introspective so that we can riff off of each other, because we know the funnest thing about us as a group of people is how much shit talk we do between each other. So I know it's going to start awkward, and then a minute in, we're just going to start to shit talk, and it's going to be, we know it's entertaining because we just have no filters on our mouth. In fact, we may have to edit some stuff out so we don't get canceled. Canceled before we even start. But there's the introspective content, and following the introspective content will be, between those I call those major posts, like the bigger posts, whether it's release,
like a drum playthrough.
But in between that, then we have all these clips of us playing at rehearsal in my studio. I have 2 cameras set up, left there all the time. I make it very easy for myself. I already had these cameras for my Twitch streaming. I have them set up, and when we walk into that room, we press record, and it's like a 4-hour recording, and I break it down.
Right.
So from one recording of a rehearsal, I have about 40 pieces of like 10-second clips of us. Like, for example, I wear these really fobby, really Asian fobby flip-flops during rehearsal. They're totally disgusting. And one of the pieces of content is just slowly zooming as we're playing this heavy-ass fucking brutal music. Like you didn't even see the fucking video, you're already laughing, and that what did that come from? Just pressing record on a camera. And we're doing this cycle for every fucking release. So for our cycles, I think it's going to be more like 5 to 6 weeks per release. We set it on a monthly basis, but now that we're putting it into motion, we're kind of seeing like we have a lot of shit. Like
That's great. I mean, I just learned a shit ton basically from what you just said, and I think anybody listening to this, hear what he just said. I mean, he just fucking put up 2 cameras. He presses record. He takes that, goes out of the way, makes sure he gets like 40 pieces of things from that content.
So really, I'm really sorry to cut you off, but actually, it just you mentioning that just really brought something important to light to me, and it even goes back to the talk of budgeting, which is okay. So you guys, anyone who's listening to this, it must sound fucking daunting to do this, to set this up, to put it on paper. I live by my calendar. I use an app called Trello, which is just this massive.
It's a free CRM plan. Yeah, it's great.
So I use all that to my advantage. Now, this is where budgeting comes in, okay? So we budgeted an X amount of dollars we are willing to put into the video production. And that only allows us to do a video every 2 to 3 songs. We can't do a full-on video for every fucking song. So we put our money into that, and it's like, okay, well, we know that the introspective content can be done with an iPhone, and it's just a bunch of jump cuts.
Yep. BTC. Yes. Yeah.
So, to stay within our budget, rather than paying someone to help us produce this content, to stay within budget, we're going to produce that ourselves. For single 2, we're going to do a visualizer video, which is significantly cheaper than a regular video, but it keeps us within budget for the quarter.
Not like a lyric video or something?
Yeah, like a lyric video, essentially. It's significantly cheaper, and that will keep us within our budget for the quarter. So we're budgets within the month, budgets within the quarter, budgets within half the year. Super important. So now we know, okay, within this half a year period, with what we allotted ourselves, we can do 2 videos for this half a year. What if we cut here and cut there and produce this in-house? And, like I said, I work out at home so I can watch a video. What if I watch a video to how to do better transitions? So, I'm just constantly maximizing my time.
The Premiere tutorials are amazing.
Yeah, so like I barely watched. I watched a lot of TV during the Thanksgiving holiday, but I don't. I try to maximize my time. I do allow myself to have some free time, but again, it just goes back to that budget and like really plotting out. We were a band for 2 years before we recorded anything, and we been planning all of this, all this posting schedule and this social media campaign for 2 months before we actually put something out. So yeah, it's really, and I almost approach it like opening up a new restaurant. You just have to like fucking figure out every nook and cranny of what's going to cost you money, because the more money you save, the more that you have left in your wallet at the end of the day.
That's true. And there's also another, other side to that, where it's like people are too afraid to even pull the trigger in the first place because they overthink things. And it's not even analysis by paralysis or paralysis by analysis. It's people are just afraid to really press record, and they don't want to be vulnerable and show a side of them that may not be something they're used to putting out there because they've never done it before. So I understand how you feel about that out there, but I'll tell you that it all starts with just like pushing each other to just press record a couple times and just do it and get over yourself, because you're going to need that. And that plays a huge role in what we're talking about for the bigger things that you're releasing. And it just gives you consistency, and it makes you get in that habit,
I think also too, it's
capture
like
one thing of the night. Let's capture one story today that we could put out now, and then things that we could put out later. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think it's pretty easy to do, but yet you'll find it very, very hard to push your band members to actually do that unless
the thing is too, is like, to your point with that, pushing your band members, I think with anything that you start that feels daunting, back to Brian's point, right? You do it with the one step. Starts with one pull-up. Starts with one, step of running. Like, everything starts with one step. Yeah. And if you're not comfortable enough to do the bigger picture and you want to try stuff out, do it one time. Just do it one time, try it out, and go back and do it another time. And look, things aren't going to be great in the beginning. I just did our best of episode. Like, there is some stuff that horrified me about myself, like, while doing it, like audio quality, things of that nature. Like, it's gotten better over time. And the thing is that, but it starts with one step.
You just gotta put the best foot forward, and obviously calculated risk. So, Brian, to your point, I mean, I wouldn't just just go throw my money at something just because I can. It would be right. It would be a little more thought out than that. It's like, okay, so if I'm not playing shows right now and I've spent this much money averaging a month, or I had a rehearsal studio and that we're not having that rehearsal studio, or my gym membership, I don't go to the gym anymore. So I could take some of that money and I could put it into my next campaign for building up to the single. You're just taking money and allocating it elsewhere, as opposed to, the coffee that you may be buying every day at Dunkin' Donuts.
It's funny. It's funny you mentioned that, Greg, because like my gym sent me an email yesterday. And they were like, hey, we got a new outdoor gym in Southern California. Do you want to upgrade your membership? And it was like miles away. I'm like,
upgrade your membership? They should fucking give
you. They should be fucking giving it to me, but that's a whole other thing. But like that $100 a month, I mean, goes to other things.
Right, sure.
Do.
Going back to Mike's point about it takes one step, there's only one guarantee from doing nothing, and that's rotting away.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you want to do something, you're going to suck at it. Like, Greg, you mentioned my old web series with Music Zoo, Chop and Shred. I look at that now, and there were a lot of cool things about it. There's a lot that I like cringe at, that I don't like at all.
I loved it. So, I mean, that's funny. You're your biggest critic, obviously, right? But like, I think it was fucking great. I watched the whole thing. So,
however, I look at that overall as like a failure in some sense. Ultimately, it's not. But I look at it as a failure because I failed to be consistent with it. But it was that first step of like, this is like, I should have done this way and that this way and this.
What you did, right? You have your own setup. You have your own setup in your own house. Now you could do it wherever you want.
Yeah.
Right?
My first step was Chop and Shred.
Yeah.
It was figuring out all those logistics. And now I feel, now I've fallen into this groove where I have this rhythm with everything I'm doing now. So the web series is kind of falling into this rhythm, and I allow an editor to do it now because I've budgeted myself very specifically within my means to be able to afford this editor. So I do the filming, I do the initial edit, I chop it down, and then I send it to the editor to sharpen it up. And yes, it's costing me money because the web series is is not profiting at the moment. However, it's still within my budget, and it's an investment period. However, because I'm willing to make that investment, it's freeing me up the time to create the 20 pieces of content from filming one rehearsal video.
There you go. That's what we're talking about. So that's spot on with, your account. You're basically doing things that are going to be more profitable for you, even if it's your time. That's where we start. What can we take that we don't do very well, that I don't need to do it anymore, and I could focus more on content creation, so I can have somebody do the things that I don't want to do?
It's
but
also making your stuff scalable. It's like,
well, that's what it is. That's what
scale.
You're growing. You're able to now focus on things that are actually making your content better, right? How do you do? Okay, so if you have somebody doing your like Mike does a lot of those videos, he does everything. That allows me to come up with some pretty cool thumbnails and look into research things and like come back at him and be like, "You're right. You have this done on your end. This is what I looked up. This is what we should cover. This is what I'm going to put out."
Yeah, it's perfect.
And it's just kind of one of those things. But at the same point, he's getting guests like you and putting out emails like constantly every day. To get good guests that are going to be credible and add value to what we're saying out here. And I think that we're doing that very well here. So today, to kind of wrap it up, it's 9:00. We went for an hour. We usually go for half, but we're having a good time.
Hey, you guys got the bonus with Chef Brain Tsao tonight. You don't get it twice a week. His episode came out this past Friday.
Yeah.
Go check it out. Greg, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's out. I mean, it's great. It's so I'm pumped for your new single. I'm pumped for the series of singles coming afterwards. I think the strategy is spot on. What we talk about, it's not because what we're doing is we're talking about is the reason why I'm saying it's cool. It's you're doing the right thing, and that's what people should take. Like, don't just fucking waste your time putting all that work in the music that you're playing, and then just fucking really just not have any plan behind it. That sucks, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna. I know we have to end this, but I'm gonna end my part with a very great lesson I learned from Chef Chris Santos. Chef Chris Santos, he's a chef.
I know who he is. Yep.
Oh yeah.
label
with Blacklight Media with Metal Blade. He owns Beauty and Essex restaurants.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that was his place.
Yeah, that's where I was the chef, and that's how I got his fellow metal.
Nice, dude. That see, it's tight. Metal and food, dude. I mean,
working. But what he told me was when we would have these chef meetings, he would be like, "Listen, if you don't put out the dish the best way it can be and the way it should be, if you don't put it out perfectly, all the work from the farmer, from the person who picks it out of the ground, boxes it, puts it into the truck, ships it to you, and then brings it to your restaurant, and then your cook who cleans it and chops it up and cooks it and puts it onto that plate. All of that is for nothing if it doesn't go out right." And we don't go into dinner service by the fucking edge of our seat. It's a pre-planned out every single night. There is a method to make it happen. So why are you going to bother putting out any content if you don't
mise en place?
If you don't put your mise en place in French means to put into place. If you don't put your things in place, listen, especially if you're a newer artist, the fuck do you have to lose if you wait another month or two?
Yeah.
It's like, no one's waiting for you. No one knows you fucking exist.
That's the point. Nobody knows. So do it. That's all.
Yes. I'm sorry. Like, you're a new artist. No one cares about you.
No.
Hold hard fact. Doesn't matter how much you practice. Doesn't matter who you know. No one gives a fuck who you are.
Yep.
No one gives a fuck who Chef Brain Tsao is in the metal scene, figuratively. I've done other things within the scene to amass a following.
I don't know, dude. Every time I talk to somebody, don't throw away from your circle of people. They know you.
That's the thing. I met a lot of people.
You know more people. You've done more than what you think you've done, but at the same point, you don't act like you haven't. You just keep moving forward, always learning, always applying. Because this shit's always changing. But the one thing that remains consistent is you.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you can do is put stuff that you're interested in out there for other people that are interested in things that you like, and then connect with them. And that's really it at the end of the day. Again, we wrap it up to this, but this is what it's all about. This is what we talk about.
Thank you for having me again. Appreciate it. Focus. Lost Becomes first single, Focus, coming out December 11th. Check it out on all major streaming platforms. I am Chef Brain Tsao.
And we will be sharing all that as it comes out in real time.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
Oh, man.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you. Take care.
Talk soon. Great. Dude, that's an awesome State of the Union. We even introduced it. Hey, welcome to the State of the Union.
We'll reverse engineer it. Welcome to the
Reverse engineer it. December 6th. Yay.
Good shit. That he's doing some really awesome stuff, and he's applying these awesome strategies that are just exactly what.
Well, I think too, it's like, people come back to that, the one step thing. I mean, he definitely has taken many steps in that 10,000 hours to get it to where it is.
Sure. And, I think also there's the people that are just afraid to make that first step. Like, I think that's
and that's always the biggest one, it's like.
But here you have a process in place. You make it better, you refine it, and then it's just really plug and play at the end of the day. Then just like part of what you're doing. So it's like it just becomes. I think you build the habit, you build the routine. It really kind of. Sorry, my back's all screwed up. I really feel it's kind of. Like you said, plug it and play in the sense that if you maintain the habit, you maintain the routine. Like, just case in point for all our listeners, I'm a nut job. I wake up at 4:30 every morning. You do?
Like you'll get texts from me at 7, like, hey.
I go to bed at like 3. And
no, he goes to bed at 3. I get up, but he's going to bed. I'm getting up. But the thing is that routine is built over time.
Sure.
Because the thing is that for me to be the best I can be in all the aspects of my life, I need to have that 2 or 3 hours in the morning to myself where I'm working out, where I'm reading good stuff, where I'm expanding my business knowledge and music business knowledge and things like that. It's an ever, and in my, my financial business knowledge, because I have clients I still service. So I'm always reading the trades.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, I'm not saying everyone needs to wake up at 4:30 in the morning, but have some sort of routine throughout your day that one is something worth of self-care to you that makes you better to the whole sum of the parts. I always feel that's a big thing.
I agree. And I think I think it really starts, and I can have a whole fucking series about this, is mindset.
We should do it.
The mindset, I will. And the mindset is, read something, learn something new every day. And if you're doing music, and that's what we're talking about here, because that's what we're doing, it could start from production. It could start from just reading something on how to do something a little different than you're stuck in your ways of doing. So, and then being like, okay, well, I'm going to be open to this. I don't know what it really is yet, but let me read about it. Let me just start opening my mind to it, because
there's stuff. I think there's something we should start doing on the website.
What?
Make a reading list.
I mean, I could tell you.
I could come up with $5. I would want everyone to read.
Primal Marketing is a great book.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be like, overwhelmed by the term marketing. Just be. It starts with really just you. Just take the things that you do and you're interested in, and that's it. It really is, because. Yeah. That's going to be interesting to somebody else. What are you into? Like, Brian's into food, and he took that and pivoted it to music because he loves music too. And then he pivots it to self-development, and like all those things together is Brian's brand. It makes him 3-dimensional. Yeah, he doesn't really focus on his family much, but that's his Facebook's more personal.
Well, yeah, no. And I think in Brian's situation, that's a good thing not to do is,
it's a kind of a mystique thing.
You need something private too. Like,
you don't have to do anything like that, but the point is, like, these people would like to see you're a normal person. They can relate to you. You're not just like superhuman, right? You're a normal person, like you're human. You can talk to these people, and they see that in you. They see that you love your dogs, right? And they see that you go to the gym, and you're an inspiration to them. So show all those different facets that you're interested in, And I think we don't put enough self-development out there, but these books, like, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, The Laws of Success in 16.
Huge.
The Magic of Thinking Big. This all may sound
huge, dude. Magic of Thinking Big.
Great.
That book was the one that really helped me develop some of my skills as a person in business and sales.
Mm-hmm.
Because the thing is that and this is going off total. This is not really State of the Union stuff, but hey, we'll talk about it anyway. But if you get a chance, look up the book Magic and Thinking Big. It's somewhere in my house, and I believe it's on my coffee table right now. Who wrote? I forget the author's name, but it's a great book.
It's a great book.
But that's one where if you feel that you're, and I've been there, stuck or trying to figure out a plan for your career or something like that, that's a great book to read when you're battle
David
planning.
Schwartz, actually.
David Schwartz, thank you.
Yeah, awesome.
I say Jack Canfield, but he's an idiot.
Jack Canfield's
Chicken Soup with Soul. He's an idiot.
Those are good too. He's awesome. Dick Tracy, Brian Tracy,
Brian Tracy.
Goals. There's all these different, but like I will tell you this: there's a way of thinking. Embrace, like when you wake up in the morning, just say, "How can I embrace my best self today?" And learn something and apply it, and just kind of push myself to do something that you want to do it anyway. You love playing, right? So I mean,
you want to do it.
You want some, man.
You want some.
You want it, but no,
good stuff.
We have this Friday up.
We have Roy Mayorga from the wonderful band Soulfly Stone Sour, and hell yeah, Roy came on a few weeks ago. We recorded his interview. You guys are gonna get to see it this Friday, and it's
awesome. That's really awesome. Looking forward.
Can't wait to bring Roy on, man. Roy's been a good friend for a few years, and really excited to have him on. And then the following week, I believe we're gonna have Brian Turner, or it might be Pirate Cheetah, but I'm not gonna call that one yet. Okay, we got a few other guests that we got going on.
Yeah, we're batching out episodes again.
So if your polka band wants to be on the Combine,
polka,
hit us up at themusiccombinenow.com at gmail.com.
John Candy, Home Alone.
Oh yeah, no, I know exactly. Polka. Isn't that Uncle Buck?
No, it's Home Alone when he's riding. Yeah, but Macaulay Culkin is in Uncle Buck.
Yeah, he is. He's the younger brother.
That's right. So
how's it going, Bug?
Yeah.
But yeah, so this week's gonna be pretty.
We'll be called the Sticky Bandits.
Oh my god! All right, I'll do one from Uncle Buck. I'm on a getting off smoking program. I start with cigarettes, then move to cigars, and then pipes, and then eventually I'm off of it.
That's awesome. He's underrated.
Anyway, we will see you guys this Friday with Roy Mayorga on the Combine. Be safe, guys.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Stop.